You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
Seattle politician who defunded the police calls 911 for a crime that she's trying to get decriminalized. That's what we're doing here in Seattle. Welcome, everybody. I'm Sean Reynolds. I'm the owner of Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds & Klein Appraisal, and your host of this episode of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. Let's get into it. Just some more stuff going on in Seattle with politicians and crime and council member calling 911. Come help me, even though we defunded you. Come help me. New York Post. Seattle politician who defunded the police called 911 is the title of the article. This came out late last week. A Seattle City Councilwoman called the police to her home Friday to report a crime she's effectively trying to legalize. You guys heard about this? I've done a couple of podcasts on it. Literally trying to legalize about 100 different misdemeanors. This is going to be a free-for-all. It's going to be a free-for-all of crime in the streets of Seattle. Lisa Herbold phoned authorities. She's a City of Seattle council member. Lisa Herbold phoned authorities on Friday after a man reportedly threw a rock through her living room window. My Northwest reported. That's probably Jason Rantz. The councilwoman said she was on the west side of the living room near the kitchen when she heard a loud noise that sounded like a gunshot and dove into the kitchen for cover. According to a redacted police report obtained by the publication, a neighbor told police that a person who was unathletic and a bad runner was seen leaving the area. How terrible. How do you describe that person? They had a red coat on, blue jeans, and a hat. They were really unathletic, and they were a bad runner. That's the description. This person maybe should not be doing crimes that involve running because obviously they are not well equipped for that job. The witness told officers that he would recognize the suspect if he saw him again, but declined an officer's business card to contact him for follow-up. Just don't really want to be involved. That's how most of this stuff goes. Just nobody wants to be involved. Too much liability. Okay. The irony is that under a proposal introduced by Herbold, the person who called 911, come help me, the suspect could avoid criminal charges if caught. Under the legislation, charges against most misdemeanor suspects could be dismissed if they can show symptoms of mental illness, addiction, or if they can prove the crime provided a need for survival. It's a so-called poverty defense, the paper reported. But we're still calling 911 anyway because we need help. And in our moment of need, our dire need, we still call 911 and expect somebody to come and show up and take care of everything, even though we are defunding them here in Seattle and in a bunch of other cities. Herbold said that she would like a jury to hear a defendant's reason for committing the crime. How about throwing the rock through your window? How do you want to hear a jury figure that one out? No, it's giving people an opportunity to tell their stories and give judges and juries the opportunity to hear those stories, they are going to be just stories. They will be just exactly that, stories. They will not be the truth because people are doing most of these crimes because they're on drugs and they need money for their next fix. That's the bottom line here. Need to hear those stories and make a decision based on the values of our city. What are the values of our city? Questioning that just a little bit. We're defunding, we're legalizing everything. You've basically got a defense for just about any kind of crime that you want to do out there. More criminals are going to come in. Streets are going to get loaded up even more than they already are. I just did video on the sweep of CHOP. Just homeless encampment turned into a major protest. Cops had to come sweep it out. They will continue arresting people for a while until they get kind of bored of that. And then the homeless will come back and then they'll set up another camp and then we'll do this all over. And I don't know, maybe another 3 months, maybe 6 months, something like that. In the meantime, the residents of the parks, they can't use it. It gets too dangerous. It just becomes a disgusting environment. Nobody wants to go to those parks. It's giving people an opportunity to tell their stories and giving judges and juries the opportunity to hear those stories and make a decision based on the values of our city. Herbold told the city's council's Public Safety Committee on Tuesday. How's that going to look? Yep, you're just basically giving a hall pass for about 100 different kinds of crimes. Some of them kind of serious, just not crimes you want to let people go on. Oh yeah, you're good. Keep. Good job. Well done. Give you a hall pass right out on the streets. That is what prosecutors are doing in Seattle right now. And that's why our streets are overrun. In a statement to Fox News, Herbold said local news reports of her trying to legalize crimes are incorrect. There are no crimes that I'm effectively pushing to make legal. No, but you're not prosecuting them, and you are basically making them legal by giving people the ability to provide a story, whether it's true or not, have somebody hear it, have a judge hear it, have a prosecuting attorney hear it, and go, okay, yep, you're good. Do you fall under the criteria of Seattle crime? Okay, we heard your story. Yep, get back out there. Good job. Get back out there. The proposal has its supporters. Yeah, in Seattle, most of this stuff does, right? In a situation where you took that sandwich because you were hungry and you were trying to meet your basic need of satisfying your hunger, we as the community will know that we should not punish that. That conduct is excused. Anita Quandilawai, the King County Director of the Department of Public Defense, said, according to Como TV, the issue there is that these aren't hungry people looking for sandwiches. You try and give these people food, they don't want it. They want money for their next fix. That is exactly what's going on. Nobody wants to talk about it because if we put it in the light of people needing basic needs like food, well, then if we don't help them, then we're inhumane. What we're actually doing is inhumane, leaving them on the streets to basically die, because that's what they're doing on the regular. Detractors say it will only embolden criminals. I'd probably be more of that camp. I'm a real estate guy. If you have this kind of stuff going on and you let a bunch more crimes basically go for free, what's going to happen to those neighborhoods? It is not going to be a positive thing, a positive external influence. It's a negative external influence. Been hearing from people in the insurance industry saying, Portland and Seattle, they're going to get some areas that are going to basically be designated as high risk. It's going to be hard to get insurance in those areas. We'll have to see if that actually happens. But that is another major thing. I'm sure in the downtown core, tough for businesses to get insurance, basically liability insurance and insurance to cover their operations and their businesses, just because the risk has gone through the roof in downtown Seattle. And that's going to happen on a residential basis. If you're in an area that has super high crime, guess what? Your insurance is going to go up, going to be more expensive to keep your house insured. And that's if you can get insurance. That's what people are saying in the insurance industry is, look out in 2021. You're going to see some pretty big price hikes. And that may not be pretty. Getting back to the article here, it's a green light for crime, said Scott Lindsay, a former mayoral public safety advisor. The news station reported, if you are engaged in 100 different misdemeanors that are in our criminal justice system code, you are not going to be held liable. You are not going to be held accountable. And that's what we've got going on. You've just got a bunch of criminals running around on the street, doing their thing, open air markets, selling their stuff. And if the police come in and do a raid and arrest people, guess what? Our prosecutors are basically saying, that's okay. You got a good story there. I'm going to believe it. I'm going to put you back out in the streets where you belong. Never mind that the streets aren't safe, and our citizens and our employees of businesses, owners of businesses, and people who do business with those businesses, nobody feels safe. So this is the community that we're creating. This is what we got going on here. So I thought this was a really interesting article from the standpoint of, yep, we still call 911 even after we defund them. We'd rather just get rid of them entirely. I'm kind of in that camp of, all right, if that's what you want to do, let's take a look at it. Let's get rid of the police altogether. Let's see how that goes. Bring in some social workers. Let's see how this goes. Unfortunately, I'm reasonable enough where knowing that is not really a solution. Defunding the police, getting rid of cops, that is not the solution, especially in a city like Seattle where crime is rising as rapidly as it is, especially violent crime, homicide. That's going on the daily. So what are we going to do? We're probably just going to watch this show, just kind of keep going. I'll keep doing the podcast here. Lots of content, just some crazy stuff going on. Crazy stuff. And it's going to continue because that's what our politicians, that's what they're looking for. They want to make things equitable for everybody. And this is part of it, is decriminalizing a lot of stuff, just kind of letting people go. But when the politicians, it's interesting, when something happens to them, different set of circumstances, different criteria. We call 911 because we're afraid, and we want the cops to come out. We know they're not really going to do anything because they really can't. I was reading about Portland's inability to basically respond to a ton of 911 calls. And the police are like, yeah, we're short-staffed. We've got all these shootings going on. We've got the protests going on. We don't have enough men on the street, men and women on the street to make everybody safe. So Portland in that boat. Seattle, exact same boat. With defunding the police, you do not have enough police on the ground right now to make everybody safe. To have this keep going. So some of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be basically walking through a bunch of these parks that have been taken over. You've got all kinds of stuff going on, and it's not people walking their dogs. I'm going to do some kind of from a distance videoing, just show you guys what's out there, because it's only it's like 8 miles that way from me from my office. It's a whole other world from Bellevue. I'm shooting here in Bellevue in Seattle. One of the things that people keep saying to me is, Sean, these major documentaries, the couple documentaries that Como has had out, Seattle is Dying, and the other one that just came out recently, the City of Soul of Seattle, whatever that one is that people are telling me, hey, this situation is way worse than what you're reporting. I'm going to do a podcast on that new documentary, the new Como documentary as well, kind of give you some input from my end of things, because a lot of those news stories I've already covered in previous podcasts. I've already reported. I was there during CHOP. I've been there during Portland, talking about kind of what's going on, what's happening, some of the storylines. And I just watched the new Como documentary, the one about the soul of Seattle. I can't remember that name for whatever reason. But super interesting documentary, and I think it brings up a ton of really good points, and it really highlights what's going on. But I think a lot of people get the idea that what these documentaries are showing is that every single street in Seattle is just this, gun show and violence. It's not like that. But there are areas that are heavily overrun, obviously. So I'm going to try and show some of those. That's what we're doing. All right, so that's it for me. I know this is a short one, but it's kind of a short article, and it's kind of just silly. So that's what I think. Thanks for being here on this one. My name is Sean Reynolds. I'm the owner of Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds & Klein Appraisal. Thanks for watching. Love to have you subscribe. That's it for me. I'm on to the next one. Thanks for being here. We'll catch up soon. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.